Welcome. Today we read Lesson 148 in the workbook and from the text, Chapter 14, Section 3, The Decision for Guiltlessness, paragraphs 1 through 7. And now for Lesson 148. My mind holds only what I think with God. (135) If I defend myself, I am attacked. (136) Sickness is a defense against the truth. To defend oneself is but to attack oneself, as ideas do not leave their source in the mind. The need for defense implies weakness and vulnerability, and infer that one is something that can be attacked. What other than a physical body can be attacked? Thus, defenses reinforce the ego's notion that one is a separate body, and that one is small, limited, and alone. And the very seeing of oneself as limited and small is an attack on the truth of who one is. Believing oneself to be sick or capable of being sick is also a defense which attacks the wholeness of who one is. For sickness maintains that the body is not separate from who one is. It is the mind, thus, that needs healing, who sees itself as sick. In accepting the atonement that one remains as God created one, is healing accomplished. And now for our text reading for today, from Chapter 14, Section 3, The Decision for Guiltlessness, paragraphs 1 through 7. The happy learner cannot feel guilty about learning. This is so essential to learning that it should never be forgotten. The guiltless learner learns easily because his thoughts are free. Yet this entails the recognition that guilt is interference, not salvation, and serves no useful function at all. Perhaps you are accustomed to using guiltlessness merely to offset the pain of guilt, and do not look upon it as having value in itself. You believe that guilt and guiltlessness are both of value, each representing an escape from what the other does not offer you. You do not want either alone, for without both you do not see yourself as whole and therefore happy. Yet you are whole only in your guiltlessness, and only in your guiltlessness can you be happy. There is no conflict here. To wish for guilt in any way, in any form, will lose appreciation of the value of your guiltlessness and push it from your sight. There is no compromise that you can make with guilt and escape the pain that only guiltlessness allays. Learning is living here, as creating is being in heaven. Whenever the pain of guilt seems to attract you, remember that if you yield to it, you are deciding against your happiness and will not learn how to be happy. Say therefore to yourself gently, but with the conviction born of the love of God and of His Son, what I experience I will make manifest. If I am guiltless, I have nothing to fear. I choose to testify to my acceptance of the atonement, not to its rejection. I would accept my guiltlessness by making it manifest and sharing it. Let me bring peace to God's Son from His Father. Each day, each hour and minute, even each second, you are deciding between the crucifixion and the resurrection, between the ego and the Holy Spirit. The ego is the choice for guilt. The Holy Spirit, the choice for guiltlessness. The power of decision is all that is yours. What you can decide between is fixed, because there are no alternatives except truth and illusion. And there is no overlap between them, because they are opposites which cannot be reconciled. and cannot both be true. You are guilty or guiltless, bound or free, unhappy or happy. The miracle teaches you that you have chosen guiltlessness, freedom, and joy. It is not a cause, but an effect. It is the natural result of choosing right, attesting to your happiness that comes from choosing to be free of guilt. Everyone you offer healing to returns it. Everyone you attack keeps it and cherishes it by holding it against you. Whether he does this or does it not will make no difference. You will think he does. It is impossible to offer what you do not want without this penalty. The cost of giving is receiving. Either it is a penalty from which you suffer, or the happy purchase of a treasure to hold dear. No penalty is ever asked of God's Son, except by himself and of himself. Every chance given him to heal is another opportunity to replace darkness with light and fear with love. If he refuses it, he binds himself to darkness because he did not choose to free his brother and enter light with him. By giving power to nothing, he throws away the joyous opportunity to learn that nothing has no power. And by not dispelling darkness, he became afraid of darkness and of light. The joy of learning that darkness has no power over the Son of God is the happy lesson the Holy Spirit teaches and would have you teach with him. It is his joy to teach it, as it will be yours. The way to teach this simple lesson is merely this: guiltlessness is invulnerability. Therefore, make your invulnerability manifest to everyone. Teach him that, whatever he may try to do to you, your perfect freedom from the belief that you can be harmed shows him that he is guiltless. He can do nothing that can hurt you. And by refusing to allow him to think he can, you teach him that the atonement which you have accepted for yourself is also his. There is nothing to forgive. No one can hurt the Son of God. His guilt is wholly without cause, and being without cause cannot exist. In this section, we learn of the relationship between one's innocence and one's invulnerability. Those who are innocent, guiltless, do not condemn, because attack and judgment are merely forms of guilt. To teach this lesson, one must show that one is not harmed by any of the behaviors of another toward oneself, and thus showing that injury has not occurred. Thus, they remain guiltless. One could say no harm, no foul, and thus no penalty need be applied. Minds cannot attack or be attacked. Nothing another does can hurt oneself. And thus one is teaching the other of their own true, eternal nature. That which God created cannot be attacked, cannot be harmed, and thus guilt has no place. And one could truly say that there is nothing to forgive.